Hello there, beautiful human. Melinda Joy, Crossroads Storyteller here with the Cancer New Moon Cycle Collective Tarot reading. And this reading will be for the dates June 28th through July 27th of 2022. Quick references. I am using the Creative Liberation Now deck and Jessica Zinchuk's Story Medicine spread. I will include their details in the comments, description, so you can pursue their brilliance further. Oh, also, interesting note, several cards showed up in this reading that have been in previous collective new moon cycle readings. I pulled the dates that the cards were connected to, so I'm going to reference them. And if that doesn't mean anything to you and you're not interested in like reflecting on your past several months, just don't worry about the dates that I mentioned. And if that does perk your interest, you can make note of the dates I say, and on your own time go check out what was going on in your life. What themes were you processing at those past dates, and see if that has any resonance with your current experience. Now for the reading. So I usually like to begin at our point of view or the character face of our reading, but today I'm going to start somewhere different, and that's because I think it is most resonant with the especially loud communal experience that is current. And this is one of the cards that was in a past reading. It was for the Pisces cycle reading, March 2nd through March 30th. And this multiverse, there's several multiverses in this deck, or card 21, which is the universe in some other decks. This particular multiverse has to do with the emptiness. It's especially concerned with honoring the entire cycle, including the death or the composting or the stillness or the resting or the pausing, the emptiness part of the cycle. So this multiverse is in place of our landscape. The landscape we are experiencing is a very potent experience of emptiness, but this emptiness is part of a natural good cycle, and this emptiness is temporary and is going to transition once again naturally into the next phase of the cycle. The other card I wanted to mention, sort of out of order, is the foundations of our story, or the roots of our story for this month. And this is the Third of Earth. And this card is really specifically speaks to how to move through uncomfortable, difficult, painful times. So this card is just so perfectly connected to our landscape in that it gives us the directions of how to move through this period of emptiness into the next part of the natural cycle. And the way it instructs us to do this is through integrity of integrity, productivity, and pleasure. But the integrity is what balances the productivity and pleasure. If you find that your productivity or your pleasure is not in alignment with your personal integrity, that is an indication that there is imbalance that is going to make the moving through part more difficult for you. So if you can fine tune your pleasure and your productivity so they are balanced and so that they are in alignment with your integrity, the push through the difficult season will be more available, a smoother transition. Perhaps the lessons will be more accessible to you. Okay. That said, let's look at our point of view for this cycle. And our point of view is the 6 of fire. And the 6 of fire is about victory. It's about success. It's about dancing to the rhythm and enjoying the moment. So this card, as the point of view card, the way I'm interpreting it is that even if you do not feel like you personally or we collectively, societally, are in a time of victory or success, that is completely legitimate. Definitely feel all your feels, all your feelings. That's going to come up in a moment. And take a look at your perspective. What point of view? What does success mean in your current perspective? Is there another kind of success that is more available, that is more attainable, that is more useful to you? Perhaps consider rearranging your perspective, which is also going to come up again, so that victory and success is available in the moment, in the present. Our character or face that we're showing up with, I think is just so brilliant. Just brilliant. 5th of Earth. Now, this card showed up for us in the Gemini new moon cycle, which was May 30th through June 27th. And in that reading, this card was really emphasizing the need to confront our internal colonizers, confront our internal limiters, confront our internal patriarchs, abusers, etc. And I think this card showing up as our face or character is letting us know that we have at least begun that journey. And if you haven't begun that journey intentionally, knowingly, consciously, you might want to check out the last month's reading. But if not, just keep tabs on the internal state of where your authority and power are coming from inside. And I think, like I said, since we have been working on this, we're going to have the ability, and I think we're already seeing this, the ability to call out authority outside of ourselves that are not acting responsibly, that are not acting for the benefit of the whole. Yes. So keep track of the internal authority also. We're not just throwing that project away just yet. And the action of this month is the feeler healer of water. I love this because this card has been coming up for me personally a lot recently. This is the Princess or Page of Cups in some other deck systems. And in this Creative Liberation Now deck, there's a big emphasis on finding pleasure in the present moment. And if pleasure is not available in the present moment, then prioritizing gratitude and contentment. And one can allow that gratitude and contentment to bud and flower into passion or pleasure. Bliss is not necessary for this card to be activated, but what is necessary, what is really being pushed forward in this card is this opportunity to find more presence, to be in our current feelings, to be in our current place and time, and to honor what is. Because when we do that, we create so many opportunities for our imagination to really be generative and useful. To when we are present in our bodies and feeling our current emotions, we are in a place where our imagination can give us practical gifts. And that is the action of this month. Before we get to the resolution, I want to touch on the theme. The theme is fourth air. And in this deck, there is a huge emphasis on internal thoughts, ideas, perspectives. So while I think we are doing a very thorough job collectively of naming what powers are not useful any longer, I think this card is letting us know that we have a little more work to do internally before we are ready to do something more constructive practically. And I think this card is letting us know that there's some personal reflections. Perhaps there is some residual, yes, perhaps our current experience collectively is pointing out to us where our sticky spot is, how we are triggered, what insecurity it is that is being triggered. And while being triggered can be really uncomfortable, if one is able to witness oneself and find compassion for oneself, being triggered can be really useful in that it provides a direct link to the actual problem internally. And so I think this card is letting us know that we are currently being gifted an opportunity to do some really potent internal investigating. Where is it that we're giving our power away? Where is it that we are suppressing our own dreams, our own purpose, our true authentic self? what beliefs or value constructs are keeping us from who we are meant to be and how we are meant to share ourselves with the world. This is the theme, and it's a very internal theme. So make sure to give yourself plenty of time to be alone and reflect, and have some tools for reflection like a journal or tarot cards or whatever best meets your unique creative needs. Because the resolution of our story, the falling action, is the alchemist activist of fire. And I think this is what everyone is calling for right now collectively. And I think this next moon cycle is giving us the opportunity to access this archetype. And this archetype is the person who is so in tune with their purpose and their pleasure and their body and their being that they do not mind being their full, complete, big, magical self. They don't mind sharing that self. And I think this is so brilliant, because I think this alchemist activist, this is the character, the inner archetype, who not only has the ability to transform the internal colonizers, the internal limiters, but also the external ones. And I think every day, every moment spent living this level of authenticity, that to me is what success is, what victory is. So much love. Keep an eye out for the tapping videos coming.